And I am alive. I am live. I'm alive. Hello, everybody out there. I have a question for you. Mexico for healthcare? Interesting question. You've heard this before. People have been going to Mexico for their healthcare from the United States for years, actually. Since Obamacare happened, the medical tourism, medicinal tourism in the United States, in Mexico, has grown immensely. My father did a lot of work in Mexico in the 90s. We've been doing things in Mexico since then, off and on, and we've seen Tijuana grow in such a way that's been amazing. People are pretty funny as they hear Tijuana. It is, at one point, I read one of the poorest places on earth, which was kind of interesting. Also, one of the most visited places on earth. Um, there are people there that, live in areas that are very, oh, we would look and say those poor people. But the thing is, it's grown a lot, and the things that you should know about Mexico. I'll tell you, when I left San Diego, I actually felt safer in Tijuana than I did in Pacific Beach area, which was kind of interesting. Um, in Mexico, since the medical tourism has happened, they have cleaned up a lot of things there. So there's some really amazing cutting edge work going on in Mexico. At one point, actually, it was my father's birthday last year. I was watching videos of him and talking to him and crying and asking, "What am I doing? Where am I going with this work, Dad? I'm struggling. I'm trying to share." And he's looking right at the camera and he says, "I was in Mexico in the 90s and I learned so much in Mexico. It was a free trade zone, so I could get all the remedies I wanted, and the doctors were working with me. So this is where he got cooperation. And this is where he said he was using with cancer low dose targeted radiation, which was not legal in the United States at that point. So smaller beats of radiation while he was supporting the body naturally. And he was getting wonderful results. So as I'm watching this video, all I could think is, did you just tell me to go to Mexico? Uh, Thank you, Dad. I love Mexico. Spain is wonderful. The Mediterranean is beautiful, but Spain has better waves than the Mediterranean does. So I called our clinic in Mexico, and Alessandro Porcello, who is he's the director of American Biodental and American Holistic Care, picked up the phone. They have our microscope. He said, "Hey, Adam, where are you? We would love for you to come and train people here." So thrilled. I'm headed to Mexico. I can't say enough about Mexico. We've had people go there for different work. And my father's work with the blood, what the blood did was educate people and help to guide them. So at this point, I want to share with people watching and listening and thinking about things like Mexico experiences from people who have been there firsthand, from people who have been through our experience with the holographic blood and gone down to Mexico. So today, I am thrilled to introduce you to our guest. Myself personally, as I talk and talk and talk, which I love to do. Say hello if you're listening. I love the comments. Give me a like. If you're interested and you know people that are interested in this stuff, share it, please. All right. We're working on the terrain theory now, a paradigm shift away from germ theory, educating people so they can learn to take charge of their healthcare. Okay. Empowering you people. You can do a lot for yourselves. So let's get into this now. Myself, yes, my father was Dr. Harvey Bigelsen. He wrote the books Holographic Blood and Doctors Are More Harmful Than Germs, both available on Amazon. Feel free to check them out. A wealth of information out there if you type up our name. But let's get on to our guest. Today I have Sunshine Beck coming into the stream. Sunshine will be there in about a second or two. Sunshine, welcome to the show. How are you doing? Oh, and I got you on mute. Sorry. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, Adam. Very good. Thanks.
Good, good, good. Nice to see you. Having a good day so far, yes?
Yes, absolutely wonderful.
Excellent. Well, and I want to tell people really quickly, as I've worked behind the scenes with my father's work, my brother was working side by side with dad. My sister is, she's a, what is she? She's an acupuncturist. Sorry. She has a doctorate in acupuncture. So my dad worked with my brother. My sister's involved with that and the treatments. I have known your name for quite some time because doing behind the scenes things, I've seen your name. And a name like Sunshine stands out, definitely. So there's only so much I knew about your story. And for people listening, Sunshine is really cool. She brings her dog over for my mom and sister to pet sit because dog energy is awesome and we appreciate the sharing of that. So Sunshine was over the other day, and I introduced myself, not realizing I had met you once before. Um, and we chatted for just a few minutes, and I didn't realize you had been to Mexico. I didn't realize that you had actually been to our clinic. I didn't realize there was cancer involved in your past as well. So it's really nice to have you on the show. You know, people, when a lot of times they hear the cancer word, then that's a game over kind of experience. We've learned that's not the case anymore, and you're living proof.
Yes.
So wonderful. So let's do this. Let me ask you, let's go back a little bit and let's talk about the beginning of your journey towards health and wellness. Was there something that happened that set you off track? Was there, anything where all of a sudden one day there was a diagnosis, or what was going on with your life earlier on?
Yeah, it was super surprising. And I was kind of led to having a mammogram, which I had never had in my life. And I was in my 40s. And it was a shock that, lo and behold, my first mammogram, there was cancer. So it was breast cancer. And of course, they wanted to cut, burn, and poison, as I call it. And called me incessantly for weeks because they wanted me to come back to the hospital. But I put the brakes on, and my intuition told me to go away from my body into the spirit realm and really open up to, our creator, and yes, open my heart to see what guidance I would get. And that helped me to calm down, most and foremost. And the message I received from Spirit was, you will get through this. And in this whole process, of course, we are spirits in a physical body. We have to also take care of the physical body. So to bypass the body is not entirely the right path either, from my perspective. So in that journey of taking care of my physical form while the spiritual activity continued very rigorously, I had heard about your dad, and I knew about his book. Friends of mine actually owned it. They loaned it to me. And I hadn't met him yet. And then I looked into it, where he was, and I found out he was actually here in Nevada City in Northern California, same town that I was living in. And so I made an appointment. He was very busy at the time. And so I finally got in, and he took my blood and looked at it and said, yep, he can actually see that there is cancer. And so it was, and he showed me exactly where. He was always very transparent. He said, look at this, look at that. And so he got really excited that he was actually seeing it. And he also saw some kind of the little pieces, I don't know what they're called, in the blood were kind of bunched together. They weren't like really free flowing. And he said that means there's stagnation, and that's, often linked to cancer. And so what he suggested is that I do the hyperbaric oxygen chamber, which he had in his office. And your brother Josh was part of his job was to be in charge of that. And he also gave me ozone treatment. And he gave me some shots, and I don't know exactly what they were for. I totally trusted him right away. I remember it was such a beautiful office. Your mom was floating in and out with sweets, with with cakes and stuff.
Nice.
So I just said, yeah, give me the shot. So I wouldn't know what it was, but yeah, I got a bunch of shots as well.
Awesome. The shots, those are, when we were doing our injections, those were our isopathic remedies. So those are live germs and fungals. And for people listening, it's a like treats like experience.
Yeah.
Homeopathy is wonderful. Isopathics is a little stronger. Okay. So it's funny too, as you talk, as I take a few notes. So you go get your biopsy, and this is a fear so many women have. The first biopsy, oh my God, there's the C word. Okay. And then people panic. And then the interesting thing is the clinics, the hospitals, they want you in
right away.
Now, yeah. And it's interesting too, because I wonder, I really feel that anyone that's going to medical school and is working in these places, they want to help people. They're working with what they know. Okay. So what they know is, we need to get you in, and we need to help you as quick as we can. Now it's awesome that you went in a spiritual space to just kind of be with this. And it's so funny because, the spirituality thing gets thrown into a wooey kind of experience. There's science. There's science to this. The placebo effect has been proven right there. So that's that. But I can't tell you how many people who have meditated, and somehow dad comes up. We've had referrals from, like God, from spirits, who came into a vision and said, "You need to see Harvey Bigelsen. I've already told him about you."
Yeah. It's
So,
true.
well, and I believe that inspiration comes from interesting places.
Mm.
And the reality is, you were able to find my dad, and the coincidence that he happened to be in your city. We
Yeah.
don't believe in coincidences,
Yeah.
so there's that. Cancer. You go see him with cancer, and you've already got your diagnosis. Dad did never diagnose people. He didn't believe in terms.
Yeah.
So if he saw you first and looked at your blood and saw that, he wouldn't say this is cancer. He would say, I think you need to get some blood tests.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is the Western, this is the integrative experience. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is not saying they're dumb. We know everything.
No.
Okay? And their testing, Dad always said, I appreciate Western tests. I don't always believe their interpretation.
Right.
And I said this on the show yesterday that, Dad, when he was in medical school the first year, he would ask questions, and people would say, his teachers would say, read the book. And Dad would say, I think the book is wrong. Well, it's time to rewrite some books, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Teddy in the background?
Yes, that's him.
Teddy barks on the truth.
Close, but he's still barking. Sorry.
Barking on the truth. No, I support that. The dogs bark on the truth. So you go to the clinic, they look at blood, they do some simple injections. It's funny that you don't know what, but you trust.
Mm-hmm.
And that's awesome. And
Completely.
we've had adverse reactions to our stuff, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Hyperbaric and ozone.
Yeah.
Now,
It's amazing.
yeah, and what are the concepts behind that? This is oxygen.
Mhm.
And, Dad learned that disease cannot live in oxygen. Cancer
Yes.
cannot live in oxygen.
Exactly.
We had one person, and she basically cured herself by coming to our hyperbaric chamber. Eventually, she rented one. She had it in her home,
Mm-hmm.
and her cancer went away.
Yeah.
So these are things that are nice to hear. And at
Mm-hmm.
the same time, as you're in the spiritual experience also, as we meditate, we're doing breathing. And a lot of times it's the simple start of a meditation is that conscious diaphragmatic breathing.
Mm-hmm.
You're oxygenating the blood.
Mm-hmm.
Is that important?
Super.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned you saw the blood sticking together, low oxygenation.
Yes.
And that's what was nice about Dad's work is he could do these treatments and then show you your blood again.
Right.
And I mean, did you get to see your blood before and after hyperbaric and what a difference that made?
Yes, he showed me. Yes. Mm-hmm. I did.
Oh,
As a matter of fact, Josh did that a lot. Yeah, he showed how it was opening up.
yes.
It was amazing. And
Yeah.
the other thing, that helps also is through meditation and connecting with a higher source and building up more faith is fear goes away. And cancer is also strongly linked to the emotion of fear.
Oh,
And
yes.
fear, we know, is constricting constricting emotion. So alongside the oxygen and, opening the heart, because the heart cannot be open when fear is there. And when fear is gone, then the heart has to open up. It's like a teeter-totter, right? So
Sure.
those two together work really magic. Really
Nice.
magic. Yeah.
Nice. So, and the thing is this, at this point, you understand, did it make sense to you as to why your cancer came about? Can I ask that question?
Yeah, I ran a lot of fear, a lot of stress. So I had a lot of trauma in my childhood. And so I was very tense. I was always like fight or flight in a way. And so that was definitely one part of it. I aligned myself with the teachings of many lifetimes. So I also think it came from,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, we definitely could bring stuff in, for sure. And it's interesting because we've seen a lot of practitioners that'll go straight to past lives and things. And for us, Dad would say, you're in this body now, so let's work up what's going on here.
Exactly. I absolutely agree. Yes.
But we've seen things in the blood where we'll actually see like holograms off to the side of the blood as it's kind of in your field.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen blood change from all kinds of interesting things. And the reality is, it's important to realize what is working for you.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea that you said initially there's the physical, and then you've got the mental, and you've got the spiritual.
Right. And they all need to be addressed.
You got it. And if you think and realize that the fear, fear changes the pH of the body.
Yeah.
There's your sympathetic versus your parasympathetic. And we don't heal when we're in the fight or flight experience.
Yeah.
So if you're living in that all the time, the body's always going to try to help you and balance things out.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a point where it gets tired.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on the person, things manifest in different areas.
Right, exactly.
Right? Breast cancer is a really common one. And Dad, in the late 80s, I remember he went on the radio in Arizona, terrestrial radio, so not internet radio, but KBKB, Arizona. Um, and he offered a guarantee, 100% guarantee for prostate cancer or breast cancer. And you think he would have been famous because he was crazy, like this crazy doctor just went on a guarantee. And you know what? You never heard from him after that because he was doing it.
Uh-huh.
And they were keeping it quiet.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's worse. We would figure some crazy person would say, "Okay, I have cancer. You didn't cure me. You said it on the radio. I'm going to sue you now because of
Yeah.
false evidence."
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Good.
So,
Yeah.
so good for you. You learned a little bit about why it came about. Let me ask you, the understanding of how things went on with you. It helps, obviously, in your role of getting back on the path. Correct.
Yes.
What's your space? What was your space like after, you go through, you get the cancer diagnosis, you see Dad, things start to change. Tell us about when, what happened when you get the thing that says the results that there's no more cancer there?
Yeah, that was 5 years later, and I essentially gave myself that much time, not premeditated. Again, I got the guidance, now it's good, you're healed. And not from a doctor, just internally. And so why don't you do another test? And I said, I don't want to because I know, what is it called? The mammograms are not very healthy for you. So I was resisting them all my life. And to this point, I only had 2 in my life. There was a diagnosis. And since then, I haven't had one. And then the one 5 years later, which is about 10 years ago. And there was nothing. And it was funny because the doctor let me sit in that little cubby room where you're disrobed, until the results came in for like the longest time. And then finally he came in and he just said to me, congratulations, there is no cancer. Goodbye. Come back in, I don't know what their line is, 2 years, 6 months. I don't know what they're saying anyway. And there was no word like, okay, you didn't do any allopathic medicine. We don't see any records of you other than the diagnosis. Nothing, no word, nothing.
I heard that recently from Saul Rayo, if you know him, and he said,
"Yeah, I do." Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he went back to the VA, and they said, "No, there's no cancer, and thank you, goodbye." And he said, "No one was interested."
Yeah, exactly. Same thing here.
I don't understand that unless they just realize there's nothing much they can do, Yeah, well, it's interesting. And Dad always said, you get the tests, you get the tests, you get the tests, and it's got to be an awesome feeling when, is one thing. And there is something that happens when you go, you know what, I'm good.
Yeah.
And there's also, I'm sure there's cases of the denial experience that I'm good. And then all of a sudden the person's not good, because we do lie to ourselves all the time.
Yeah, we want to be good. So then we kind of, yes.
Yeah. But when and it's the heart brain experience, right? And the neurons here, and we can feel that stuff here, then and we question ourselves too. So for me, if I had gone through that, I put myself in your spot and go, yeah, I know it. I wouldn't want to get another mammogram. They're pretty brutal, that's for sure.
That too.
Yeah,
but I did. So I did, and it was fine. And so I'm
good.
And I wait for guidance. If something else happens, then
sure. Well, and part of my thing is I want that piece of paper that says no cancer. Like I'm going to frame that one. There's my trophy or something.
Yes. Well, I was never more grateful than on that day. I didn't know what gratitude was until that moment.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine. I really can only imagine. Well, so that whole thing was 15 years ago now.
Yeah, approximately.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Awesome. You look awesome, healthy. You're having a good time. Life is as good as can be in the midst of the craziness right now.
Yes.
So let's talk then a little bit about Mexico. So at some point you end up having to do some dental work. Was it dental work, like toothache or something, or were we involved? Because we see teeth in the blood. I don't know if
no, I didn't see your dad because then, he wasn't in practice anymore. And, so I knew I couldn't see him.
Sure.
And, so I knew I actually haven't had a dentist in the United States for 15 years because every time I also went to Brazil a lot, and so I actually had a Brazilian dentist, believe it or not, but he didn't have an x-ray. And so he did a nice job, but I knew there was more going on in my mouth because
Sure.
also, unfortunately, I had 5 root canals in my mouth, which came
Mm.
out of lack of knowing in the past when I was younger, because I've never had good teeth, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I was looking for always alternatives. That's just who I am. And I came across, and that was unrelated to your dad, I came across the American Biodental in Tijuana, actually simultaneously recommended by some people I trust in our community.
Nice.
And then when I talked to your dad, regarding something else that was going on, he said, that's exactly what we're affiliated with. And okay, I'm going to go.
Cool.
And there was no more question.
Those are signs. The universe
Yeah,
is
yeah,
right.
it was clear to me. Yes, I trusted your dad. And
Cool.
yes, so I've been twice.
Nice. And tell me then, it's really cool when that happens. That's, I think, for me, it's like 3 strikes. Something crosses my path once, okay, twice, 3 times, all right, there's something going on before I
Yes,
get smacked on the head with it,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
So, and tell me how this went down for you. You just called the clinic? Did you email them or did you look
Yes.
it up?
I called them, and a very nice lady, but back then, it was several years ago, by the name of Maria, answered, and it was very simple. So she said, this is what you need to do. We'll pick you up in San Diego, and you need to make a reservation for at least a night in the same building, which is the Hotel Central, or how's it called? I forget now.
Grand
The
Hotel.
main Grand Hotel, exactly. And we are just, in the bottom, on one of the bottom floors, and so it's very, very easy. And yeah, so she set it all up for me. I made the flight reservations from Sacramento to San Diego. And I was a little nervous because I couldn't imagine that somebody would really pick me up, honestly. I was a little bit pessimistic. I'm like, yeah, is this really going to work out? I must have called her a million times to make sure.
I've seen that movie. You stand in the corner and then someone
Yeah,
comes by and takes you away and no one ever sees you again.
exactly. Nightmare.
I know people are thinking this, by the way, so go ahead.
Yeah. But it was just amazing. I stepped out of the airport, and there he was with the sign, and it's just like, wow, this is heaven. No wait time, no nothing.
Did
And so
Alessandro pick you up? Sorry to
no, it
interrupt.
was Jesus.
Jesus. Okay, cool. Sometimes
Yeah,
it's Alessandro or his wife, and that's like the director, like the main guy is picking you
yeah.
up.
No,
Yeah.
it was Jesus, and he's a character. I mean, he has all these different, perspectives. He was cool to talk to.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he took me over the border. And at the time, I didn't have an American passport yet. I had a green card. So he helped me. I mean, this was not the so super simple case because I had a green card, German passport, and
Wow.
all of that. But he was so nice. He took me right through all the steps. Then he couldn't go with me, of course, because he's Mexican. He had to go through the border in a different way. But,
Sure.
it was totally a no-brainer. And you're literally, is it like half an hour, 40 minutes later, you're at the office in Tijuana, and it's a beautiful office. It is to me, going there, this summarizes it, going to a spa. I mean, you walk in exactly that. There is the beautiful entryway. It's small. It's not elaborate, but clean. It's pretty. It's relaxing. Everyone is extremely friendly. I never had to wait. The waiting room has amazing crystal. It's an amethyst, and with such good energy. And then you have these leather lazy boy chairs in the waiting room. I mean, just picture this, right? How many American doctors' offices have lazy boys where you can kick back and lie next to a huge amethyst crystal? And so, and they have fresh water and tea. And so, within minutes, you're being taken to someone who takes your images, and then another person. And again, no waits. It was just like seamless. And it's not like you're the only person. This is a busy office. So picture a lot of people, but you always get a beautiful seat and you don't have to wait. So then somebody else calls you in and discusses the protocol. And you have choices. You can say yes to all what they're suggesting. You can say no. There's no discussion. There's no pushing any treatments on you. So it's very respectful, very educated, very clear. And you get to see the images because they also take images of with a cell phone. So it's all blown up. It's very high tech. That's the other thing. Very high tech. Much more high tech than it seems in an American dental office. The ones I've experienced. And so anyway, and then you meet your dentist, and that too was lovely. I mean, you're lying on a chair, which is a dental chair, but the nice thing is, you pick your own music channel,
Nice.
and yep. So yeah, and then I asked for a vitamin. I think it's the Meyer. It's the what was it? The Meyer cocktail.
Meyer cocktail. Yep.
Right.
The IV.
I asked for that, so I received the IV while I was lying in the chair, and the first time I get chills. It was so amazing. I had a lot of work to be done. I would say tens of thousands of dollars here in the United States, because it was about 5 or 6 thousand in a lot of work. I mean, they worked on me for literally 7 hours straight, and you would think, oh my gosh, how could you survive that? It was a breeze.
Wow. Awesome.
It was a breeze, and it was not even hard. They were so gentle. This dentist and his help, they were dedicated. They were focused. They listened to me. They gave me, what signs to do. They always, gently touched my chin to close it every minute I could. And, the Overkeen was nothing, that because I get heart palpitations, I'm sensitive.
Oh,
They fine-tuned it. And what I didn't do, but what they also do, that the listeners should know, is they do bio identity tests. What is it called? They test your blood to see which products, when they put them in your teeth, match your blood, your whole system. So that's also actually so you don't get an allergic reaction or any other negative health effects, right? I didn't do that even. But it was just amazing. And then I was done, next day I spent the night. I went upstairs to my room. Oh, I had a meal, a wonderful Mexican meal, right around the corner, in actually a fast food restaurant. And I tell you, it was the best Mexican I've ever had.
Got it.
It was like, wow, this is fast food. This is true Mexican. That was amazing.
Nice.
Yeah. And then next day I went back down, and I just did a recheck to make sure that everything, the bite was okay. Never had any pain afterwards. I felt, because probably I got the shot, the vitamin cocktail, right? I felt absolutely better than before.
Yeah. It's amazing, isn't it? They were Hal Huggins trained biological dentistry there. So they'll take your blood and take to the PRP, the platelet-rich plasma. The healing happens so much quicker when you're doing these things, and there's no pain. We used to go to a dentist in Canada, and people thought we were crazy. But Josh had a wisdom tooth removed, and he was eating steak with the dentist that night. In the United States, I had my wisdom teeth removed. I was swollen for 3 days.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. It's, I've been there. I love it. There are doctors there that Dad worked with over 30 years ago when he was doing his cancer work. The people there are lovely. The facility is state of the art, high tech. I mean, the things we've seen there with the stem cells and things like that. And there's American Biodental and American Holistic Care, which is the medical side. For people listening, I can't encourage a visit there enough if you're thinking about it. And at this point, Josh and I will be there starting the 6th and 7th of July. We'll be there, which is great. We're doing blood, and then the people at the clinic are doing the treatments. Awesome. We're doing a dental consultation with our consultation. So when we look at the blood and we see teeth, well, then the dental clinic's right there, and here's the x-ray. And how many times have we done this with clients? We look at the blood, it's a dental issue. They got to make an appointment 3 months down the road. And it's like, by that point in time, what's going on? And we had a person there for stem cells with their eyes. We did some pretty wild things with stem cells and eyes, and she needed cataract surgery. So they put her in the car, took her for the surgery, brought her back. There's no waiting 3 months for surgery. These things, So I don't know. That's funny. My mom is texting me.
Then I went back a second time, and just for the listeners, I intended to again spend the night. It was much less work. It was maybe 3 hours worth of work. The second time, to just finish off, because financially I couldn't do it all in one. The first visit. And so I booked my flight. It was extremely seamless, the same way again. I was very stressed during that time because there was a lot going on in my life. And so I thought, oh my gosh, now on top of it, I have to go to Mexico because I had booked it a while ago.
Right.
Anyway, I pulled it off in one day. I changed my flight. I flew out in the morning at like 6 a.m. from Sacramento. I was in the office at 8:30. That's how seamless it was.
Yeah.
Everything was taken care of. I was done by 1 or 2 in the afternoon, had a beautiful lunch, and they took me back to the airport. I was home by 9 p.m. And went to my bed. It was like mind-boggling. It's like I was in Mexico today.
Awesome.
You know, and I felt rejuvenated. I mean, Adam, you wouldn't believe it. Again, because I had this beautiful cocktail in my veins, you know, and I felt like I had been nourished, like I had been to a spa for a day. And this, for heaven's sake, was a dentist. That's how amazing it is. And I'm not getting a percentage from them to say that. This is really my truth. Yes.
Right. Yeah, cool. I think to me, that's beautiful. That's really dental issues. We've seen so much in the blood. You know, we do our distance consultations, and people send us the blood in the mail, which we're still offering if people are interested. Check out the website. And we look at the blood and we say dental. And Dad would even do this in his clinic. People would come in, they've booked, and it's an appointment. So we've got so many people booked for the day. And he'd look at the blood and say, it's dental. I cannot help you until you get your dental work taken care of. So I'm not charging you for today, and call me as soon as your dental work has been taken care of. You know, and that's what we did. Dad wanted to help people. And Mexico, medical tourism, there's stuff going on there that's awesome. For you to go there for one day for dental work, no one likes to go to the dentist.
No.
Would you like to go back again?
Yes.
Just to
Right.
effort? Right. That's the kind of place this place is. You just want to hang, you know, and the people are beautiful. The doctors, Dr. Andrade, he's in your hotel room, and he's, you know, it's like you want to hug the man. I love that feeling. Okay. I'm thrilled that you were able to get there and do that whole experience. And I am thrilled that you can share this with people. If people have any more specific questions, can I connect them with you?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Well,
Maybe
appreciate that.
you want to hand out my email or put it in the notes. I mean, it's very simple. Should I say it?
Well, actually, if people are interested, let them hit me up just so we don't have weird people.
Exactly. Perfect. Yes. Yeah.
You're a liar and all that stuff. You still have cancer.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, and then even with our clinic, it's funny. I remember working at Dad's clinic, and there was a patient who came in, and I'm looking at the schedule, and the patient's not on the schedule, and I said, "Hey, you know, you don't have an appointment today," and he said, "I know. I just wanted to stop by and say hi."
Yeah.
Who the heck wants to go hang out with their doctor, you know, and say hi, right?
Yes.
People were shocked with my dad, and even things in Mexico where they felt like people actually cared about their health.
Yes.
Isn't it called healthcare?
Yeah.
What a concept to feel like you were cared for, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. So I have another question for you, and then if there's anything else you want to share, because I want to, you know, I don't want to keep people's attention. Yay! Get them quick. If you guys want more information, we can have sunshine on again, most definitely.
Yes.
For people that are looking for different information these days and trying to educate themselves, is the holographic blood work something you would recommend?
Yeah, of course, no question about it. To me, it's probably the test that shows the most the truth. That's not really good English, but maybe you can rephrase it. It's the most truthful test. You know, it goes right down to what's going on inside of you, and that's what we all want. You know, there is no, like, you know, when you draw blood in allopathic medicine, they test for this vitamin or this, and they, you know, this, but it's not like this overall holistic picture where, you know, okay, there's this, that, and the other. And your dad and your family, you're so good in reading it. You can actually make sense of it. I mean, I would be looking at it and not know, but it's just like the highway to getting answers.
And it makes sense, doesn't it?
It makes sense completely. Yes.
It wasn't like we had to convince you of this.
No, not at all. No.
It's nice to, you know, it's the holistic experience. When Dad was writing the Arizona Homeopathic Medical Practice Act, the district attorney called him and said, "You keep using this word we don't understand. What does holistic mean?"
Interesting.
And he actually defined the word holistic for the Arizona legal system.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, people. Okay, terrain theory, this is about everything around you. All right. Sunshine had issues with fear and trauma, and there was cancer at some point. Okay. Later on, she had some root canal stuff. There was dental issues. So there's layers of things that go on, and it's all interconnected.
Yeah.
So you said it yourself. You said you've got structural or physical, energetic, mind, body, spirit, emotional, that whole experience. And this is what the blood shows, whatever the body is concerned about. It's showing the emotions, the physical. It's that cellular memory physically manifesting. So it's hard to question. You're seeing it.
Yes.
At that point, too, it's those pieces to the puzzle. The dental piece is one piece.
Yes.
And we fear the dentist. But for you to go, how many times have had the person get a tooth removed and all of a sudden their back feels better? I had the dentist actually fix my back. Worked on my mouth, and it was interconnected.
Yes.
So this is a holistic experience. And the blood, one drop of blood shows everything. I used to say they cloned Superman from one drop of his blood.
Yeah.
If they cloned me, my clone should have my broken collarbone and my attitude. Somehow that's all in there. Well, cool. Let me ask you one more question. As you're doing life in general at this point, what would you say to people as far as what they can do right now for themselves? You've learned a little bit about health and how things work. So where's a good place for people to start? How would you start changing your health?
Well, I think, I'm not someone who's always focused on the physical so much, so that's, you get that opinion from me. I'm just studying a book called Thought is Life. So going into our mind and becoming more aware of our thinking and our emotions.
Yes.
I think, from what I've learned recently is like literally we are what we think.
Oh, yes.
And we are what we're feeling. So that to me is like goes to the root cause of because our thinking has an impact on our physical form because we're holistic. It's all linked, as you just explained.
Yeah.
So to really go there and to work on the fear, to meditate more, to take more breaks in nature, to feel the feet on the ground, naked feet on the ground,
I heard a scientist say that yesterday. Yes.
Right. And so to connect, to really be, because, what every thought is a manifestation. We send it out, and as we think, we emit, and then we attract. So whatever we don't like in our life, in our physical form, in our relationships, doesn't matter what, comes from our thinking, our feelings. So if we can get a better hold of that, we have a jump start. Yes. And then we'll take it from there. More messages will come.
Oh, yes. This can do amazing things, and it can do some really interesting things. And for people listening, try an experiment. Turn off the TV for a day and just go for a walk, and don't read the newspaper. Watch some funny movies. Watch those silly cat videos or something like that on YouTube. And just do that for a day. Just totally disconnect and just notice how you feel at the end of the day and the next morning when you wake up.
Exactly.
Just do the experiment. Yeah. Awesome. Sunshine. I love talking to you. I could talk for days, definitely, with you. I want to really quickly share your Facebook page. If people want to find out more about you and connect with you, Divine Light Spiritist Center is her Facebook experience there. So feel free to look her up. And people can reach out to us. We have our website, we're thebigelsenmethod.com. If you want to find out more about Sunshine and connect with her, you can do it through the Facebook. You can contact us. We can get you her email information. Sunshine, I can't thank you enough for spending some time with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's so important, I think, for people to hear right from the source.
Yes, yeah. And I have a lot of gratitude for your dad and your family in my heart. So anytime.
You're awesome.
You guys are doing an awesome job, for sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah, there he is.
Cool. All right, Sunshine. Well, thank you for people that were watching. David, Carolina, awesome. And Anna, you guys are great. People, please feel free and share this. If you know people that talk about terrain theory, I just want to connect with more and more people to share this and get the connections going so people can really have a nice, smooth paradigm shift into taking care of their health and being less fearful.
Yes.
Okay. So if you're listening, write your list of joy, things that make you happy, go out and take a walk. I'm going to go outside for a little bit and lie down in the grass myself. Okay. Cool. All right, Sunshine, have yourself a good day.
Yeah. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.